Imagine a community where the only thing increasing is the violent crime rate. Despite the fact that the sun rarely shines, the economy has seen better days. The United States is home to some of the most beautiful communities in the world. But today we're going to look at the other side of the coin. Get ready to travel to some of those locations, including potentially fortune for God. Number 10. Fairbanks, Alaska. Although Fairbanks is officially a city, we're only considering locations with populations under 50,000. Cities will be saved for when we tackle the very massive ones, like Chicago. Love those sorts of things, but ever find yourself wanting for a taste of true north, want to purchase a property in an area where the sun never seems to set, and the wind tries your sanity, I would want to present you to Fairbanks. Located in the interior of Alaska, the Golden Heart City is also known as Alaska. Fairbanks is a paradise for everyone who enjoys cold weather and people who enjoy being viciously attacked. This place can be dangerous, and I'm not even referring about the nude moose or squirrels. The day following Cinco de Mayo, the temperature in Fairbanks actually decreases faster than my desire to exercise. If nothing else, Fairbanks has disproved the theory that locations with colder climates don't have high crime rates. If you want to visit Fairbanks, be careful and prepare carefully since you're going to need it. I guess it's never too cold for killing there. If you want to purchase a home in Fairbanks, Alaska, it will cost you $288,350. With a violent crime rate that is 127% more than the national average and a cost of living that is higher than average, Fairbanks, Alaska, is no surprise that it made our list. Number 9. Muscogee, Oklahoma. The name Muscogee comes from the Creek people, one of the 5 civilized tribes that were forcibly relocated to the area during the 19th century. It's been a while since I've been there, but Muscogee is a city rich in history and cultural significance located in eastern Oklahoma. It was founded during the Indian Territory era and became a focal point for trade culture and communication for various Native American tribes that were relocated to the region. When I visited there before, I didn't really think it was a problem. But it turns out that they have a high percentage of violent crime and significant poverty. They have a 56% greater poverty rate than the national norm. The good news is that it's not too expensive to live here. Houses are affordable, but I doubt you'd want any of it. Their rate of violent crime is 154% higher than the national average. The good news is that the cost of the typical home here is around $130,000. Number 8. East St. Louis, Illinois. East St. Louis is located just across from St. Louis, and I'm sure the residents of St. Louis would like to blow up the bridge if they could. St. Louis is unable to move past the Mississippi River, and a more promising future separate East St. Louis from St. Louis, a historically significant city in southwest Illinois with origins that go all the way back to early American history. It almost seems as though they reached a point where they gave up attempting to fix it, because East St. Louis has been renowned as a very unsafe location to reside for the past 50 years or so. The poverty rate in 2022 was 29.3%. while the national average at the time was 12.8. I'd like to go there and teach them how to run their town a little bit better. But I don't have the time or the crayons. Statistically, it is almost impossible to keep getting worse without unintentionally taking a right step and getting a little bit better. However, they never seem to get better, which is why I believe they are doing this on purpose. There is one good thing about East St. Louis though. The average home worth here is $35,000. You definitely don't want the house, but that's their average $35,000 home value. Dollars if you live here. I'll be astonished that East St. Louis has a violent crime rate that is 163% higher than the national average. Number 7. Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan is about 70 miles northwest of Detroit and has a significant place in American industrial history. During the 20th century, Flint was a center for automobile production and was famously the home of General Motors. At one point, Flint's industrial prominence made it a representation of the strength of American manufacturing, and it offered well-paying jobs for thousands of residents. However, things went south, and I mean south like Antarctica south. Despite these difficulties, there are still people residing in the city. For example, East Street Louis has a bright spot where you can purchase a home for less than $50,000. I'm not sure if you'd want this one either, but it's there for you for about $50,000. You'll have to chase the hobos out of the area by yourself now if you don't get killed by the lead in the drinking water, which they have. Number 6, the city of Commerce, California. For the most part, this entire area is industrial stuff and warehouses. So a lot of weird stuff goes on around there these days. It's one of those hot spots for the homeless people who are living in their vans. There's no river, but they're living in their vans. And most of that goes on down near the warehouses. They got train tracks. Commerce is a city located in Southern California in the Los Angeles metro area. So actually just southeast of downtown. They aren't all that horrible. The majority of the homes are well kept and attractive. They were probably built in the 1950s or late 1940s. Despite the nice neighborhoods, the area is dangerous and unsightly due to the nearby train tracks and warehouses. Nevertheless, the homes are expensive despite the undesirable location. The typical property here costs $634,000, which is actually quite affordable for Los Angeles compared to the rest of the nation. Commerce, California, has a poverty rate that is only a few percentage points higher than the national norm, while the violent crime rate is 177% more than the national average. Number 5, Danville, Illinois. Danville, Illinois, a city in the eastern section of the state in Vermilion County, is notable for its history and culture. Danville was founded in the early 19th century and rose to prominence as an industrial hub in the 20th century, particularly in the coal mining industry. It is located north of Terre Haute, Indiana, and south of Chicago. As I usually say, if the cost of living is low and the housing is inexpensive, everything else will be terrible. This city's typical home is $67,500. This city was once very nice and prosperous, but now they can't even keep the roads maintained. It breaks my heart to see things like this because they have some beautiful buildings, such as beautiful brick buildings, and it stinks that this place is like this. If you want to rent a house here, a 2-bedroom house with 1 bathroom, you're looking at about $600 a month. But for that price, you get a few things: danger depression and a whole bunch of vacant stores. People in this town make up 30% of the population that live below the poverty line. Be prepared for this one. They have a violent crime rate that is 351% higher than the national average. Number 4, Gallup, New Mexico. Since Gallup is located west of Albuquerque these days, you can find a lot of pretty unique Native American arts there. Gallup is frequently referred to as the hub of Indian Nation and serves as a lively testament to Native American culture and heritage. If you like Navajo weaving or Zuni jewelry, here is an excellent spot to find it. Cliffs made of red sandstone and mesas encircle Gallup. Gallup is not only a center of commerce, but it is also a haven for outdoor enthusiasts, especially if you enjoy being shot at. This is because there are many issues in this area that go beyond people having weapons and wanting to use them. One of them being poverty. When I tell you that price, that's kind of like the average. It goes up and down, but it's approximately the average. Approximately 30% of their population is considered to be living below the poverty level. Gallup has a violent crime rate that is 387% higher than the national average. I've been there quite a few times, probably a dozen times in my life. But the most recent time I was there wasn't even a trip I wanted to be on due to a train breakdown. Fortunately, I wasn't assaulted. Number 3, Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Sometimes, though, I start to feel awful for some of these communities because they consistently appear on lists of bad places to live. Pine Bluff is the epitome of something that never improves. Pine Bluff, the main city in Jefferson County, is located in southeast Arkansas. It also serves as the county seat. This town, which is located on the Arkansas River and has a lot of train tracks running through it, was once a major center for transportation, agriculture, and trade. Nearly 40% of Pine Bluff's residents are considered to be below the poverty line. If you did relocate here and wish to purchase a home, you are contemplating $80,000. Pine Bluff, Arkansas, has a violent crime rate that is 433% higher than the national average. Number 2, Saginaw, Michigan. Obviously, when discussing Michigan, Detroit will receive all the attention. However, Saginaw has a rich history that extends from its heyday as a prosperous fur trading station through the lumber and later the card industries. It is located in the eastern region of Michigan. Given its advantageous location near dense forests and the Saginaw River, Saginaw played an important role as a major hub for lumber during the 19th century. However, as the city's supply of lumber dwindled by the 20th century, it quickly shifted to manufacturing, particularly in the automotive industry with companies like General Motors. The good news is that cost of living is low. A house will cost you about $116,000. But that's to be expected when 35% of your population lives below the poverty line, and the violent crime rate in Saginaw, Michigan is 487% above the national average, and that's not good. I mean, it's dangerous. They don't have jobs, and it gets bitterly cold in the winter. The bad news is that it's still far from where it needs to be to make you want to actually move there. Number 1, Monroe, Louisiana. Monroe, according to their website, Louisiana is located in the northeastern region of the state and serves as a vital center for cultural, economic, and educational activities. I suppose they do these things, but I doubt you have much time for them when you're trying to stay alive. This town was established in 1785, and in its heyday, the Ouachita River served as a stop for steamboats. Monroe is home to the University of Louisiana at Monroe, and it's one of those places. There are not many positive things happening in this town, despite its rich history. About 40% of its residents live in poverty. Despite this, you could purchase a home for $134,000. Get comfortable for this one, because it's brutal. There were beaches in the Normandy invasion that had a lower rate of violence, while having a violent crime rate that is 585% higher than the national average. Ok, good. That was today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something from it. Now, go out and enjoy your day while being kind to one another.